Welcome to another episode of Stories and Conversations with Rahel. I hope you have watched the other episodes, and if you have not, please go back and watch on our YouTube channel and also listen in on our podcast channel. So this month we're talking about, or rather we're having conversations with women who are using their voices to make a difference in the society. So today I have an amazing guest, and I'm really proud to have this guest come into the show and to share her story about what she is doing and how she's using her voice for the voiceless. So without much further ado, welcome Judy to my show, to Stories and Conversations with Rahel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for always honoring me with your presence. I really appreciate it. You're so gracious. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're most welcome. Yeah.
So how are you feeling today?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
Of course, I'm always excited to see you. Such a vibe. So,
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've talked before about what you do, the line of work that you're in. So before we get into the conversation, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Judy?
Oh.
And again, do not be shy. Just say everything. Everything. If you're a wife to, you know, I
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you feel like sharing, please feel free to share who you
okay.
are as Judy.
I'm Judy Kihumba. I am a sign language interpreter. I think that's my signature.
Yeah.
I am also a wife to one Andrew Kihumba. And I'm a mother to many, to so many, but biologically I have two children, two daughters, whom I'm excited to walk the journey of motherhood with.
Yeah.
And I am a founder of an organization called Talking Hands, Listening Eyes on Postpartum Depression, which we advocate for maternal and mental wellness of deaf women. I'm also in the innovation space.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that journey.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
Yes.
You do quite a bit, and I'm really glad that you're actually doing what you are doing. But apart from the work part and all this innovation, what do you do for fun? What's, when you want to wind down, or when you've had a stressful day, what do you normally do?
I love reading.
Yeah.
I can spend a whole night, the 24 hours clock reading. I love reading, and that's the same thing. I write a lot.
Okay.
So I'm always journaling. I'm always with books around me, that is. But I am an intentional mother, very intentional. So I am also training my two daughters, 8 and 4, and there's one who she'll be turning 3, an adopted girl. So I'm always training them some things. They have already learned sign language. They can sign.
Oh, wow.
And I teach them how to cook. I am not a very good cook, but at least we do something that both of us, the three of us, can relate well.
And you can eat it. As long as you can eat.
Of course.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a 3-course meal.
No.
Yeah.
And I'm also building a reading culture in my house.
Yeah.
So we are either, when we are in the house, we are reading and we are explaining, narrating what you've read and how it helps you, how you understand it, including the small one. And I'm seeing it's working because I see them thinking through. Like even when we see adverts on the road, they're internalizing of what it means.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what I do. Of course, apart from the 3 of them around me, and apart from reading, I love nature. So I walk a lot around where there's nature. I drive a lot, so that's my way of unwinding.
That's good.
And of course, I love friends, so I also create time for friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's important. That's very important.
Yes.
So, girls, how does your husband survive in the midst of all these amazing women? How does he survive?
My little baby the 4-year-old keeps saying, we have only one boy and so many girls, which is true. Yeah. But I think because he loves us and he loves his children, I would say that more. He loves being around them as well. My daughters are very hard, and you'd think they're boys in girls' bodies. So he doesn't have a dull moment, like a way moment that I'm the only boy. He's always teaching us things. I think he knows so many things as well. He's a firstborn.
Okay.
So he's always firstborning us.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah,
He has
so
to be a dad.
he is a real dad that is
That's
he's a
great.
present dad. Okay, he travels a lot, but he's a present dad when he's there.
Yeah.
So we can't say that he feels alone. He feels like he's the only boy. Actually, I don't think if he remembers.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember per se. Yeah. Because when they are running around, they are skating within the compound. Whatever they are doing together.
Okay.
Yeah. And my little one looks like he loves mechanical work. And she's learning and asking, giving him tools, doing things together. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he doesn't feel lonely per se.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason you chose a girl to adopt and not a boy?
Not really.
Yeah.
I found myself in the space because actually it's not really official adoption because I've taken in a mother and her child. So I have taken a deaf mom. When this baby was born on 7th November 2020, I was called by one of the hospitals to go. There's a deaf mom who is giving birth, and according to them, she was not ready. And she didn't look like she knew she was giving birth. So I went to check on her, and I went with some clothes of my daughter. So because the hospital, they told me that they didn't have, she didn't come with anything. So after giving birth, I had to take her to her house because I didn't know this girl. So I thought I was just helping her for that time. So took her to the house, but I was really shocked that she was staying alone. She didn't even have a bed. So, you know, the pain of putting a newborn baby down on the floor, on the mattress down, really touched me. So I mobilized some friends. We got her some stuff, beds and such. And in the process, because she's deaf and she was going through so much, she's a total orphan. And the baby was not, it was not intentional. She never wanted to have a baby. And also the misinformation that the deaf people most of the times get, that if you find yourself pregnant, you take conky leaves all through, the pregnancy will come out. So that's what she was doing. So even to her going to give birth, she was not going to give birth because she was not going to give birth. She was in pain, but to her the baby was coming out, but not coming out like a baby.
Yeah.
So, and for imagine God's miracles, for 9 months, this girl never went for clinics, whichever, any checkups, nothing. So, because of, she was going through so much, and you see now with the new baby adopting to the environment, the baby would cry a lot, but her neighbors never knew that, they knew she's deaf, but I think they didn't know how to communicate with her to wake her up, because they would think she's sleeping when the baby is crying. So they would throw stones on top of her house to wake her up. Oh, wow. But they didn't know they were traumatizing the baby. So she kept telling me the baby doesn't sleep. So whenever I would go there every day after work, go take care, help her literally, wash clothes, cook for her, and then leave. And this was curfew time, so it would not take too long. Then one day it happened, I was there bathing the baby, so the baby was obviously crying. Then I had a stone up. Even myself, I was scared, what's happening? So I went out to check, and a boy was telling, Mom has told me to throw a stone to wake her up. And I realized, this is what she keeps telling me. From that time, I decided, let me take her with me to my house for some time. Then I was taking her for some time. We agreed I go with her, take her for some time as we check on her, because I could see, and you see now she was also very frustrated. She didn't know how to breastfeed, with the nipple cracks and those conditions that you're a new mom, you have no clue, you've never taken care of a baby. She was a last born, so she never knew how to take care of a baby. So that's how we took her in. I talked to my husband, we took her in with her baby. And since then, 2020, she has never gone back. She has never left. She's part of our family. So that's how I found her, the little baby, in my hands. Actually, she calls me Mom because of that. Not really official adoption. And she feels she's part of our family. When she's calling my husband Dad, and my children, her sisters, she's enjoying, and she's in a family setup.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, Judy, you have such a heart of gold. And the baby is healthy?
Very healthy, talking. Actually, she talks the most in the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and she's enjoying. I would say she's growing. She'll be turning 3 in November.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's such a great story. And we've already gotten into the conversation, so that's really great.
Yes.
So maybe if we can go back and talk about how you started this whole initiative. So obviously these are differently abled individuals. And I'm not sure this is maybe something you went through when in your childhood, or is something that you experienced when you were an adult. Maybe you can take us through, how did you get into this space of helping these differently abled women?
It goes way back in my high school.
Yeah.
When I was to join high school, I was to join a school, Chinga Girls, which I never got a chance to join because that's where I was admitted. There were family issues that couldn't allow. So the nearest school near my grandma's place is a school for the deaf, the National School for the Deaf. It's called Reverend Muhoro School for the Deaf. So that's where my grandma knew the principal, so went and talked to him and said, can you allow her maybe to be here for some time as we figure out how to support her. And so the principal was gracious. You can imagine you're Form 1, the first time you're joining Form 1, but you're not even joining in school uniform because you're there for just a short time. So they had to borrow some uniforms from neighbors and old clothes. I went to school, a school for the deaf. The first term was very hard, that first time. Of course, because that's not what I wanted. And again, you see, you're a teenage, you don't even relate with what is happening. And so I stayed there for the first one term. I never learned sign language. I had no interest with the deaf people, but they were so friendly. Of course, I was, everybody was talking about me, including them, because they would see I was a very, very quiet girl. I was not talking to anyone. My focus was on books. By then, I was a day scholar, and it's far. Home to the school is a bit far, but I would still walk. You can imagine, because I didn't want other students to talk to me. I would walk reading a book literally. Today's notes I'm reading on the road. Yeah. Because I was really focused. So that first one term was a bit hard for me. And joining the second term, my school fees had not been paid yet. So I had to be sent home. Now, I stayed at home. I stayed for 2 years. Now, these 2 years, going back to school, there was no way I would go to Chinga Girls. How would I explain that I never stepped there then again? So I had to go to a school, back to the school that they would understand where I was coming from. So when I went back, the principal took me in, and he even helped me get a sponsor. And through that, now I went there focused. I am ready to study. I know myself. I'm ready to interact. I am ready to learn sign language. Actually, that was, I kept talking to myself because I saw how these people were concerned. They were friendly to me. Even when I left school, those who knew me would still follow me. So through that, I learned sign language and I became their friend. So to date, 98% I would say of my friends are deaf people. So through that, everything I do, even when I go to a forum, even a conference, or even in church, the first question is there a deaf person? Are they getting the communication? So it has been in me. Even now that I live with the deaf person in the house, we're watching news. Is she understanding what is happening? So even if it was a normal general conversation, did she get what we are saying? So it has been part of me, of signing and being in the deaf space. So through this, I started having conversations, but not really on my motherhood journey. But when I became a mother, I was not so keen about when I got my firstborn baby, so keen. But my second one, between my firstborn and my second one, I had a pregnancy loss, which made me now start thinking about them more. And it happened in a very, how would I say, in a space that wasn't very friendly, because I lost my dad. And in the process of grieving, before we even buried him, I went for postmortem, and through that I started bleeding. And you see, now you're focused again on other matters. So even as people are helping me to to mourn my dad and preparations, they never knew that I was also losing my baby. Through that journey, people would come home and thought, my friends now, the deaf people, they thought I'm just in the mourning style of my dad. And in that space, I told some, I have lost a pregnancy. And now that's when they were like, but all of us here, now to them, it was a way of comforting me. Like, but all of us here have lost more than one pregnancy. Then I'm like, why? Some say when you go to the hospital, before you are even checked where you are sick, if the pregnancy is not big enough, you'll be given malaria medication. So you lose your pregnancy. Some through those many medications, some that's how they have lost their pregnancies. Then I started thinking, you know what, I have never thought about it. And so through that I started thinking about them. Now when I conceived again, now my baby, I gave birth to her in 2019. And through that journey of mourning my dad, I had a very close friend, who was like a mother figure to us, who knew my whole journey and my pain, and she was there for me 24/7. So she was again diagnosed with cancer, which had really advanced. It was diagnosed at stage 4. So there was no time to mourn her journey of cancer. Within 3 months, she was dead. You know, and she left. Actually, she's the one who noted that I was pregnant even before I could know, because we were very close. So when I told her, when she died, I think I had bottled. I lost my dad. I lost my baby. Now I've lost her, and I was not speaking this thing so much. I was not even going for therapy. All that time, I never went for therapy. So through that, when I gave birth to my baby, I think I snapped, everything busted. And I went through postpartum depression. Now that was the hardest thing, even to explain to the deaf. When they come to the house, and they were so friendly. Some will come, they want to wash the house, to cook, to take care of my daughter. And others want to take my baby to help me. And I'm there, just there, not talking to them. They're wondering what happened overnight. We left you here, well, no, you know, such. So that's when now, when we went to the hospital, and we went through the explanation. The doctor walked with us the journey. I went through therapy, medication. And if there's something I have learned is hard, is taking the antidepressant medication. It's really hard, because it makes you lose connection with the reality on the ground. When I'm signing, sometimes I don't know what I'm telling them. They're there wondering, is Judy okay? So through that, I explained, I walked with them the journey. And some would say, yes, we can even relate why. Because some would tell me they are mothers, because if you don't want to breastfeed your baby, your mother will beat you, because wondering, why are you not breastfeeding? But because there's no communication per se, the deaf and the mom, because most of the family members don't know sign language within the family setup. So you find they're not able to express what exactly they're feeling and how they're feeling. Through that, I started now walking the journey. Therapy, of course, I went to school, I did counseling so that I would be able to walk the journey with them. And here we are.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So using your pain.
Yes.
Using your pain to actually make a difference.
Yes.
So from your pain, that's where you actually realized your purpose.
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. That is really great. And I'm really happy to hear all these things that you are doing. And you've never given up. Even when it became harder, you've not given up. You've even taken someone in. Oh, Judy, you have such a good heart. You have such a good heart, and I'm glad that you're actually sharing your story. So there's this one particular aspect that I'm really passionate about, and I believe you know about it, mental health. You know, when you're going through mental health challenges, and I've also experienced it, you sometimes want to express yourself. And when you go to a therapist, you have to express yourself, because sometimes you cannot even share what is inside of you. So you want the person to actually understand what you're trying to say, even though you're not even saying it in the proper way.
Yes.
So I can only imagine what these ladies go through.
Yes.
So how is that? Like, how is that for you, and how is that for them, trying to figure out this whole myriad of mental health challenges and actually deciding that they are going to actually do something to make sure that they are okay? How is that process, and how do they express themselves with the fact that they do not or cannot speak?
most of the times, and the majority who come to me, and I have realized in this space of mental health, I didn't know that I support the deaf women because I talk, especially the ones that I walk the journey of motherhood. I talk to them, I ask them, how are you feeling? And we have very open conversations. And one thing about the deaf people is they are very open. If I am not happy with you because I called you and you didn't pick my call, I texted you and you didn't reply, they'll tell you black and white whether you're happy or not. They don't care what you're doing. You'll explain yourself later, but they are very open. So I have also realized even men, they also come to me, and they're not coming to me for therapy. That's one thing I realized. It's therapy. As I talk to them, as I walk through the journey, that's when I realize actually this is therapy. But they're coming to me because they have found trust and safe space in me. So for deaf people, they're very open. And when we get to that point, because there are times we get to that point that I can't really say how I'm feeling. We do a lot of drawings. I will give a book, tell me, how are you feeling? We'll draw, you tell me your feelings. I'm able to pick from what they have drawn, from some very, very, how do I say, very practical experiences. I'll ask a question and I'm able to say, the problem is not even your husband didn't give you money for today, or the problem is not that you're not working, the problem is because you're feeling like you are a bad mother to your child, or the other way around. I can be able to pick through the conversations because when they come to me, they trust me and they are very open, I would say. And I think building trust over time has made everything easy. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So there's this other part that you said about pregnant women. You normally help the deaf pregnant women. So I can only imagine during labor, because that's normally an intense, you know, it's very intense for the women.
Yes.
So how is that again? I'm really curious about that. I'm really curious about how they manage through that, especially for the nurses and the doctors to understand that this person is actually in pain.
Yes.
And, you know, this is what they want this person to help them with. How is that?
It's really hard. I walk with them through the pregnancy journey, and most of the times I act like a doula in a way. Even when they go for labor, I am there massaging and comforting them. But it's very hard when a deaf mom goes to give birth alone. And especially with a doctor who doesn't, or a midwife who doesn't understand sign language, or doesn't understand there are very basic communication. You can communicate with stop or continue, you know, very basic communication. They don't know how, when they don't know how to communicate. You find most of them are done, they go through CS procedure because the doctors didn't know how to explain to them. So they saw the easier way to solve our problems. Let's just do the CS. Not because I wanted you to do CS, but because we can't communicate. Those who have gone through the normal labor really struggle. They really struggle. They come, 98% of the women I walk through, deaf women who have gone through labor alone, come out traumatized, very traumatized. Some say the doctor was slapping them, you don't understand your pain, but you don't know why the doctor slapped you. Another one told me that they splashed water to her. You know, the water is to make her like push. You push. So I realized that most of the times our medics are not prepared for the deaf world. And through that I have been taking I've been going to hospitals. Of course, I've gone to the government hospitals because that's where I had comfort. Most of them. To try to enlighten, and especially on the maternity side, to enlighten our medics to know that we have a category of people who are traumatizing. Beyond motherhood is a whole traumatizing thing. Giving birth is another traumatizing thing. But if you are not helping them to reduce the trauma, we add more them to get to the postpartum more than they should have if there was somebody walking the journey with them. Yes.
Oh wow, so you're really, really making a difference, and whatever you're sharing is actually, I'm feeling it so deep, and I can only imagine what they go through. Because I mean, for us who are, you know, we are able in all these different ways, we get easily frustrated when such things are not going the way we hope they will go, especially in a hospital setting where you want, you know, a seamless, you know, pregnancy, you want to give birth seamlessly and all that. So I can only imagine. So you're actually making a huge difference. So Judy, there's this amazing thing that you're doing, an innovation that you've come up with. Please tell us more about it.
It's I'm so excited, to be sincere.
Yeah.
If there's something that has excited me, it's to know that my thoughts were not just thoughts. There was something that they were coming out to be something very good, and that would bring impact to our deaf moms. I am sure, 100% sure, that it will reduce the postpartum depression in a great way, because there will be communication. So one of the struggles that deaf mothers go through, I've just given you a case of that girl that we took in. The neighbors never knew how to wake her up if she was asleep, then how to call her to attention for her baby. So throwing the stones was traumatizing, not only the baby, but even the mother, because when the baby can't sleep at all the whole 24 hours, that means even the mother won't get rest, and she's alone. So then that's when I started thinking, what exactly can be done that can alert her when the baby cries. Sometimes I was thinking, if the phone, even if the phone vibrates, will she see? Will she know? So through that, I came up with I wrote down, I drew what I wanted, and it's a gadget where it's put in where the baby is. It's like two gadgets. One is put where the baby is, and the other one is a wristband like this one. That it's a smartwatch, not really the normal smartwatches, a simple one that is the mom puts on her hand like this. So if the baby is crying or makes some noise that needs attention, this one will vibrate on the hand of the mom, and will flash some like disco lights that will attract the mother. Even if she was busy doing something, she will see, and will attend to the baby. But now it also has a trigger button that when these moms are in labor, if you know, when a deaf mom closes their eyes, there is no communication. When a deaf person closes their eyes, there is no communication. When there is darkness, there is no communication. But it has a trigger button that, as a doula or whoever is there trying to tap them, maybe to communicate with them, and they have still closed their eyes because they're thinking it's a comfort tap. When you press the button, it will vibrate, and they will now open their eyes and see the communication.
Oh, wow. And I know you're launching it very soon.
Yes.
So when are you planning to launch it? And how many mothers are you hoping to reach with this gadget?
It's on prototype, so meaning we have not really produced so many. We are doing a lot of testing now. And we are so hopeful that we'll be able to launch it in October 10th, because it's International Mental Health Day. And because, of course, this is coming to reduce the gap of postpartum depression in a way. So we are looking forward to meeting as many deaf moms in this country and beyond, because this is the first gadget, I would say, that is working like that in the world. So I'm looking forward to even other countries, maybe as we develop it further, because I see us developing further. This is just a starting point.
Wow, this is really, really big. And I hope you can see how big this is, because it is very, very big. And I'm really super proud of you. And I'm definitely supporting you all the way.
Thank you.
All the way. So as we come to a close of this conversation, maybe you can share with us parting words. Tell us, why do you think you're using your voice to make an impact? What is that impact that you would like to see in the world while using your voice?
I would say I'm using my voice to bridge the gap, the communication barriers between the hearing world and the deaf world, and more so in motherhood journey. And I would want to, in years to come, that where we'll have medics, because for me it's in the health sector, medics who understand the deaf people and the process of how they process information, and getting information out there for them, clearly made for them. Because when I was going through postpartum depression, it was really hard for me. I was going through internet, searching for information, actually I was even looking for support groups within the internet to see what exactly is happening. Then I look, there is nothing for the deaf people. Who is working, who is speaking on their behalf, who is even if not on their behalf, who is raising their voice to help them speak for themselves, because they feel it better, they know it better. We need to create awareness of our deaf women, of our deaf people around us.
Yeah.
That would be my parting shot.
Wow, really, really powerful. And before we leave, finally, Judy, where can people find you? You have an organization. I know you are on social media. Where can people find you? There is also something that you do on TV.
Yes.
So please tell us more about it as we finalize. Yeah.
I host a show at Science TV, which I called Mother's World. And it really talks about motherhood journey in the women world. I also, you can find me on social media, in Facebook, in Twitter, in all the social media, Instagram.
Yeah.
In Instagram and Twitter, you'll find me at Judy Andy. In Facebook, I'm Judy Kihumba. You can search me as Judy Kihumba. You can search our organization called Talking Hands, Listening Eyes on Postpartum Depression. It's there. And it's in all social medias.
Awesome.
Or it's still Talking Hands, Listening Eyes. It's only on Instagram that is, it is THLEP, THLEP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I also know you're looking for donations.
Yes.
To help these women, because you cannot carry this burden by yourself.
For sure, yes.
So if people want to donate, what can they do, or what's the mode of donations?
Yes, you can. You're looking for donation in different angles, because some of this, I work with not with the elite, because I have realized with time, the elite deaf women can be able to provide for a sign language interpreter. You can work with you can pay and work with this mom. But imagine a single mom who is depending on Vibarua, washing clothes. This time that they have given birth, their life stops.
Yeah.
They can't pay house rent and even buy foods. So through that, I am looking for food donations, toys, baby clothes, and any donation in kind, and diapers mostly, because that's also the greatest. When a mom has to balance between buying a meal and buying a diaper, it becomes very hard. So I'm trying to build a food bank in a way where these moms can be getting regular foods for their support. Yeah. Especially the first 3 months where they are not able to move out of their house. Yeah. You can also, our pay bill is not out yet, but I don't know whether I can give my number.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Please. So you can 0725 733 843.
So they can reach out to you
directly. They can reach out directly to me. That's my number, my very personal number.
That's great.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Judy, for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. Your story, it is impactful. And what you're doing is very impactful. And please do not stop. It might get hard and harder on the way, but please do not stop. As I said, I'm here. I'm supporting you all the way. And this is a promise. And you can take it to the bank. This is a promise. So thank you so much. Thank you.